We've talked about attributes or properties of a class, and in the past we've had class level variables that are then front-ended by public properties. In the previous lesson on the multiple forms and passing values between those forms, I had a student class that had variables for first name, last name, major, and standing, and properties that corresponded to that. And over in the right, you can see that's quite a bit of code. And I mentioned that a lot of languages have auto-implemented properties, and in fact Visual Basic does have auto-implemented properties. There are times, however, when you have to use this methodology, such as if you're working with abstraction, or in the case of maybe a read-only property where you need to do some calculation. That probably is best suited with this idea of a public property with getters and setters. However, we can basically replace all of this structure with some auto-implemented public properties. And I don't need to use getters and setters. They're built into this auto-implemented implementation. A little redundancy there. But I have public property first name as string, and that has a getter and setter inherent in it. And it also has a backing field, or this class level variable that's created hidden in memory, but it's basically the name of the property preceded by an underscore. So underscore first name with a capital F. Same with last name, major, and class standing. Now I also created read-only properties that are auto-implemented, and they do have backing fields of underscore full name and underscore last name. However, since those are calculated in the constructor, I needed to also add an underscore full name equals, and then the implementation through interpolation of the $sign and the fields of fn space ln, and for last name it's ln comma space fn. And I could use first name and last name for those as well, since those properties values are already established. That then allows me to get the full name and last name. And so that you can see that this works, let's go over to the Visual Basic. Here is my adjusted student class, which I'm using the auto-implemented properties and setting the full name and last name in the constructor. I have not changed anything else in the program. So let's just run this. And there's my program running. And I can click on any name and see the values. I can still add a new student. We'll add in Victoria Vinzio. And Victoria is a marketing major and is a senior, and I'm going to click submit. I'm going to cancel then, not do any more. I could do more names if I wanted, but now in my list there is Victoria Vinzio. And if I close out of this and restart, you'll see my data is still persisting. So significantly less code. I like doing things that are a little bit easier. But again, there are some times when you have to go back and use those public setters and getters if you're doing something calculated. In this case, we're able to calculate within the constructor, or if you're using abstraction. If you just jumped into this video, you can see all the videos from the Programming Practicum playlist by clicking on the image in the lower right. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos I create, you can click my picture in the top right to subscribe to the channel.